making it abundantly clear without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like, you're it for me, and I mean what I say when I say that I want you.
Yeah, that's
So,
good.
yeah.
3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Hi.
We back. I know you're thinking back. Don't worry about that. Welcome to the podcast.
Right.
/ not podcast. This is the amazing, the illustrious Rebecca Pearl. And
Hello.
I am the iconic, full of dynamics, the one and only, the chosen one, the son of the God who created the creation. I'm Emmanuel, Mystro Productions. We have a song, and that's coming out, if not already out, called 3, 2, 1. Say it slow. I'm excited about it. This is one of those ones that I'm really excited about because I got a chance to work with you for the first time, and like you killed it. You low key like scared me when we were making the song.
Why?
Because in a good way, in an amazing way. Because it was just like I've never seen someone freestyle so easily and make that a song. Like,
really?
Like I'm like making the beat. Like I'm making the beat, and you're like, I already have the chorus, and I was like, what do you mean you have the chorus? Because I haven't finished. I ain't put drums in yet. So like I'm like yeah. You're like an amazing person to work with. Very thankful to have the opportunity. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Likewise, when your production is incredible, Mystro Productions is it's a whole vibe, man. And then your verse is super fire.
Thank you.
I think it's my favorite part of the song.
Oh wow.
I guess just jam out and just be like, yeah, this is good. For real, really, like really. Because I feel like my part is like it's good, I did a little something, but then yours come on and I'm like, let's go. Y'all gonna have to listen to it. It's really dope.
If you know, you know.
you know. Okay, so what inspired this song?
I think real life situations. You got a lot of things that are really happening in real time. That happens where you want clarity in a relationship, and you want like it. This whole song is about like people are texting me. It's great. See how it's the other way around? That's crazy. This whole song is about you're in a relationship with someone. You're finding love. And the thing that you want the most, I feel like is one of the most important things in a relationship is clarity. Getting clear expectations. What are we doing? What are we? Where are we going? And I think these are important questions. And I think the say it slow aspect is about like say it slow I can understand. Say it right. Give it to me to my ears so that I make sure I know what you meant when you said what you said. You said that you liked me. What do you mean by that? Because I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical like that. I don't like when I walk into a new situation. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who's who, and so I have a face where I go, and everybody's like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm amazing." I don't know who you are, but like say it for me to understand. Like, what are you saying?
Okay. Yeah, clarity, super important.
It's super important.
I think when I came in, and it was really cool getting to work with you for the first time. You just made the environment like super. You just were super approachable, and just made it really easy, really fun, and just made it a safe space. And I really appreciated that.
Absolutely.
And I came in with some things on my heart, and so when you started playing, I think you were trying to find an instrumental. You just had just started making the beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, you played something, and I said, that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's the one. And then I have this thing where I hear a melody, or I'll make a melody, and I'll just run with it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just laid out what was on my heart that day, and it was really exactly that. Like, I'm in a place where I feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I'm holding this thing, and it looks beautiful, and it feels great, and I feel like it's mine.
Yeah.
But it's like is it really mine?
Yeah.
Am I safe to fully take hold of this thing, or and let go of like the subconscious fear of it slipping
Yeah.
away? Like, is it really mine?
Yeah.
And so I think the whole say it slow aspect was like, one, tell me that it is, but show me and make it abundantly clear so there is no doubt in my mind
Yeah.
that it is what it is.
Absolutely. I think when it comes to relationships, there's a humongous lack of clarity. I think there's a lot of people who are trying to skim the I guess the aspect of being really in tune in a relationship and really being connected with someone, whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of uh, because of the way people were raised. Because as a man, I've learned that generationally we haven't been taught to commit in a relationship, and I feel like generationally there's a lot of generations of men who thought their role as a man was to just bag a lot of women, was to just like get as many women as you can, make them all pregnant, or try to not to be pregnant. If you can escape it with no kids, that's great. Uh, but like, there's few out there who are trying to break the mold of like what people think manhood should be, and it's like let me commit to somebody. Let me actually like be with one woman and commit my time to one woman. Let me actually like go all the way and not just marry her because like I impregnated her, but I want to like love her and cherish her and like really be with her because I love her. And I think because that clarity is so vague nowadays. Nowadays people are like, I got side pieces and I got somebody. I got it's so easy for someone to be cheating in any type of way that it's almost kind of like, why would I do a relationship? Why would I trust you? Are your words real? Which is why I think clarity is so important. I think not just telling someone that you like them, or that they're cute, or that you want to be with them, but actions to back up your claim is super important. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think this song really drives that home, and asks and demands the clarity. One, because I think women are so much more important and so much more uh, they're worth so much more than we've like shown it in the past and presently. And so I feel like they deserve the clarity because of the man who has in the previous time in relationships not been so clear, whether it's because of fear or self-doubt. I think I have learned one of my biggest mistakes in relationships romantically is not being clear, because women are worth the clarity. If that makes sense.
So, okay, question.
Mm-hmm.
So, you mentioned the lack of clarity from a man because he might be getting over his whole face.
Facts.
But let's dive in more to the other end of the spectrum, which you and mentioned in the latter portion, which was a man not being clear because of fear or self-doubt.
Yeah.
What does that look like for a man to be unclear because of those things?
That's good. I think men. I didn't say this before, but I think that now I'm thinking about it in a different way. There's this aspect of what a man looks like, and it's always solid. I'm never vulnerable. I'm always hard all the time, and nobody sees the real me because I'm supposed to look cool. And like when it comes to relationships require vulnerability. And so like it's hard for a man to undo what every man seems to be struggling with, is being emotionally vulnerable. And to be vulnerable is to be like if I'm vulnerable, you're able to hurt me more. If I'm vulnerable, I'm more Words are just leaving me. But I'm more prone to getting hurt.
You're
And
exposed.
yes, it's like taking off my armor to show you my pain. And I'm like, if I do that, then there's no protection. Like, where do I find protection? And so I think it's so easy for a man to just act hard and to pretend like everything's all good and never showcase his vulnerability. I think the real fear comes from, like, what if you hurt me though? Like, what if I show you that I'm weak underneath all this toughness, and you throw it back in my face? Like, what if I cry in front of you and you bring it up again and talk and tell me that, like, I'm something, I'm something like you. That's why you cry. You a baby. And I think there's been history of men having those stories to be like, well, I'm saying that one time I was vulnerable and I was hurt because I was vulnerable. And so I think there's this history where we're like, well, there's no need to be vulnerable then. So why would I? So I think trying to get over that um, um, is necessary, because I think in order to have an amazing relationship and a clear relationship and a grounded relationship, vulnerability is needed. And so to get away from that fear is going to be like, one, I think it takes a confidence in yourself to know, like, regardless of what this other person could say, I'm good. Like you can say I'm weak, I'm good. You can say that I'm a baby, but I'm good. You can say, like, I'm not worth it, I'm not a man. You can throw all this back in my face, but I have to have that self assurance that I'm good. And I think the self assurance first comes from God. It first comes from being validated by my Creator, and then knowing like that, putting self esteem as something that I work on. Like, I'm good. Before I come to you, before I meet this person that I want to give myself to, I need to know who I am. I need to know my identity and, like, where my strength comes from, so that when I can lay my armor down in front of you, regardless if you accept it, or you don't, I'll still walk away knowing who I am. So I think after that point, when you know that you're good and you find a person who can accept who you are in your most vulnerable times, I think that's when you know you got something good.
Is it possible for a man to be scared of love?
I think love is scary, period. I feel like love is terrifying. I feel
Really?
like I do. I think I genuinely think me wanting some, it sounds crazy when you say it out loud. I want you so bad, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. That's like jumping off the edge. That's like I just jumped off a cliff. If you don't catch me with, like, oh, I was thinking the same thing, that's gonna suck. when people, oh my gosh, the worst feeling in life is when a guy proposes in confidence. He gets down on the knee and she goes like, no, please, no, please. And he's like, I just want to spend the rest of my life. And she's like crying, not because she's happy, but she's like, that's not what I want. Is like, that's the worst feeling ever. So I feel like love is like, it's a shot in the dark sometimes. It's really like, I'm giving you everything. Because people can say, like, I don't love hard, but, like, you can't, when you love something, you truly, like, you give yourself to it. So to love something and it doesn't give you the same energy you put into it, it's detrimental in a lot of ways. And I think it takes, usually when it comes to heartbreak, like, I love somebody and we was in this relationship and then, like, we didn't work. It takes some time to detach. I would never tell somebody to, like, I had a friend who, like, she was in, like, a long relationship. She was in a relationship for like a year and a half. And then they, like, broke up. And then she was in another relationship 3 weeks later. I was like, you fool. I was like, you need some time. Like, you're like, that type of connection with somebody takes a minute to detach, become yourself again. Because you don't realize, like, you took a lot of what that person had. Like, even if like you took, like, some of their, like, the way they say stuff, how they act, how they think, and it's just like detaching from that is a lot. So I feel like love is like an all in type thing. So it's scary to, like, put yourself out there, not knowing if somebody loves you back. It's just one thing. But it's also refreshing because when you get that, like, oh my gosh, I was thinking the same thing. I love you too. And then you spend the rest of your life with somebody, it's like, oh, it's the most gratifying feeling ever. I don't care if she like snores in her sleep, and like it keeps me up at night. Like real love is like, but I still want to love her though. She got problems and sometimes she's a little bit ADHD and she can't stick on one topic, but I love her though. You know what I mean? Like it's a shot in the dark, but when you make it though, it's like
ADHD.
I'm like, babe, what you want to eat for dinner? And she's like, corn rolls. Like, what the frick are you talking about? I was like, oh, okay. It's like, yeah.
He said, I love you, but she gonna eat.
It's real. I watched somebody on Instagram where he's like, babe, and she's like in her zone. He's like, babe, and then on the title it's got when you're talking to somebody with ADHD, it's terrible.
Oh man. Oh. Okay, so like, okay. So we talked about clarity and kind of what it looks like when a man is afraid to fall in love.
Yeah.
Right. So what does clarity look like then?
I think clarity looks like actions. I think clarity looks like clear words with clear actions. If that's the short-term version. I think like when I say I want to be with you, that's great and all if you just said it and then never text me back or you know what I'm saying, like that's cute, and then like when y'all together you're like, I just want to be with you. Because at that point, you're frustrated. You're like, man, bump you. Because you talk about you want to be with me, but then when I call you, you don't pick up. You don't want to come to none of my events. You don't support me in nothing what I do. I told you my dreams and aspirations, and you're like, that's cool. And then don't like help me at all. Like it's one thing to just say things and then never do anything about it. And that's another thing to just do a whole bunch of stuff that's like giving the assumption that you want to be with me and then never say anything. So both are required. It's weird actually. If you just do a whole bunch of stuff, you like buy me flowers and then come to all of my events and I just say, oh, thank you. Like, what did you come for? And you just like, great. You're cool. And you're like, that's weird. And then like you want to hang out with me all the time and then you text back really fast and you answer and you're calling me often than I call you and you're just like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? I was just chilling. I was just thinking about you. Like it's just weird if you don't also say it. So both is required.
Say it slow, but also do it.
Yes.
So like, okay, so when a man is certain, because I know that you're getting ready to wife somebody up, and I'm really, really excited for y'all. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so good.
Shout out to
I hope I get a wedding invitation. Just saying.
Facts. To Jamaica.
Huh? You said what?
To Jamaica. Go ahead.
For real?
Mm-hmm.
I got my passport and everything. I'm ready.
I gotta get mine. I'm the one. That's the most important part.
I think the groom has to be there. Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. Process about, because I know you haven't proposed yet.
I've not.
So like, I think we should air this after you propose. Well, I mean, technically she already knows, and that's the clarity part, right? So talk more about making it abundantly clear without a doubt. Like, what does that look like for you? Because I noticed a pattern and a trend.
Okay.
My best friend, she just got engaged. She's getting married in September, and they started dating. Actually, it happened pretty quickly. They started dating in January. Okay. They were friends for some time.
Okay.
Started dating in January. He proposed. They started dating in January. Oh my gosh. Dated in January. He proposed in May. They're getting married in September. So, what was funny about that process was they were talking for a long time, and then he finally asked her out. But it was kind of already obvious that they were like super in love.
Yeah.
And then when he was getting ready to propose, he said, hey, I'm going to marry you. And she's like, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to propose to you, just so you know. And then he bought a ring and he sent her a picture of it. He sent her a picture of the ring. And then he was like, I just want you to know I have the ring already.
That's crazy.
So she's like, oh, like you're for real.
Like you're not playing.
And then she didn't know when he was going to propose or anything, but he proposed, and then they set a date. They're getting married in September.
Wow.
And then similar to you, you're like, just tell them so they can hear it directly from you. But then, because I'm seeing direct correlations between the actual acts of making it abundantly clear without a doubt, like you're it for me, and I mean what I say when I say that I want you.
Yeah, that's good. When me and Nia got together, before we dated, like literally right before, we were in her house, we were chilling, we were vibing, and I remember just looking at her. I had a lot of time to just look at her, just looking at her face. I was just like, what do I like about you? I was being real honest with myself. I'm like, what I don't like about you? I couldn't find anything. But I was looking at her, and I remember she was just like, what? And I was like, I'm going to marry you. I remember saying that to her face before we got together.
Before you guys started dating, you said that to her.
Yeah, I said it. And I meant every word of it, too. I was like, I just feel it in my heart of hearts. This is not just a pass-through relationship. I was like, I'm going to marry you. She's like, that's crazy. she literally, she's like, that's wild. And I don't think she said that out of like I don't believe you. But she's just like, nobody's ever said that to me, like ever. And so that was just like, So I held on to that, and then like a week or two later, and I asked her out. I want to do a lot more formal. I like to be formal. You know what I'm saying? That could have been a moment where I've been like, when you go out with me, that would have been a great moment. But also just like, nah, I want to be formal. So we went on a date, and then I asked her out. Anyway, the moral of that is, every aspect of our relationship, I want to make it very clear that this was not just a relationship. From the get-go, from the beginning, I was like, I'm going to marry you. That's my end goal. Like this is not some time frame where you like, we were cute and then we drifted apart. Like, this is like, he had full intentions. He knew his end goal, and then I watched him do everything to set it up.
Hallelujah.
So when we hit 6 months, I was like, I'm gonna marry you. She was like, it's crazy. And then we hit a year. I was like, we're that much closer to me marrying you. She was like, that's wild. And then we hit a year and 6 months. And then let's go back. 6 months ago, 6 months to 8 months ago, she made a board called That Special Day. Because I kept just talking about it. I was like, I'm gonna marry you. Like, that's crazy. And then I made a board for her. I made a board for her on Pinterest, and I called it Wedding Rings. And I took her phone and collaborated with it. And I was like, go find rings. I don't care what it looked like. Go find rings. And she was salty about it, because she was like, I don't know the point of reason to do that. Because like before we dated, she was really big on not talking about weddings. She was like, that's too far ahead. That's too much to think about. Like that's not even like happening right now. I don't really do stuff like that until it happens. And I'm like, I like to break that cycle, because I want you to hope. I want you to believe. I want you to know. And I don't want to just like get your hopes up. I want you to see it progressively happening. So when it starts to happen, and I started talking about it more, and I put her in these boards, she was like, oh, okay. So like before long, I would see Nia updated the board, and I'll go look at it, and I would see 10 rings, and I'll be like, that's what I like to see. And then when I go look on the special day, it'll be like dresses, it'll be like colors. It's just like, it was a beautiful montage of seeing her like slowly soften and hope to the idea of like, oh, this is real. So kind of similar to your friend, I didn't show her the ring. That, in my opinion, was like, oh, okay, you're bold. You that was different. Okay. But
he doesn't like surprises. That's what he likes to say.
I definitely like keep in mind, like, she don't like, we're going ring shopping soon, and she's gonna like know all the ones that she likes. but she'll never know which one she's gonna get until she get it. But it's just like it's real for me. I want it to be like a process of you knowing that it's real. So that was a long answer, but
it was beautiful. That blessed me. Thank you. Wow. Okay.
Now it's my turn to ask you
Oh
questions.
yeah, go ahead.
You asked all these amazing questions. Thank you so much. I hope you're learning and seeing into my world. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. Do you feel like okay? Question. I didn't ask this before. Are you the girl that doesn't make Pinterest boards about weddings, or are you the girl that makes Pinterest boards about weddings before you're in a relationship?
The second. I've already started looking for my wedding dress.
Wow.
And that had nothing to do with a person in particular.
Okay.
It's just so like I grew up kind of like dreaming of the fairy tale love. Okay. And like, you know, like, one day I'm going to be married and going to be a wife and have a family and we're going to like have this lots of land and we're going to have a farm. And I don't want to live on the farm. I want to have a farm. Okay. So that way if like, you know, the world ends or something, we can like live off of it and feed the community. Like that's my dream. Like literally that's a dream for me.
That's dope.
So
horses and everything.
Right? Well, no, I did horseback riding. I didn't like it.
You didn't like horseback?
No, I might have a wagon.
Okay. Okay. I'm not mad at that. Okay. I'm sorry.
Okay, focus. But yeah, definitely like I love love. Yeah. I am in love with love. And I think it's such a beautiful thing. And it just does something for me to dream because I've seen a lot of heartbreak. And I know that hope deferred can make a heart sick. But I also know that in God our hope shall never be put to shame. Yeah. And so for me, I think it's a great act of faith.
That's good.
To say, despite what may be happening in the world or any hurt that I've experienced, I'm going to still have great expectations.
That's good.
In my relationship with God and also the love that I expect to receive. And I think it's a positioning of the mind and the heart to say, this is what I'm going for. So I'm going to keep my mind set on these things so that I don't settle for anything less than that.
That's good. I like that. That's actually, I've never heard that before. I've only heard like, oh my gosh. I've kind of heard the fairy tale part, but they've been like, oh my gosh, like I just gotta have everything's gonna be perfect, and then he's gonna wear blue, and you're like, you ain't met him yet, and you're like, no, but he's gonna wear blue. I'm like, okay, he's gonna wear blue, and he's like, he's gonna be in like royal, and I'm like, okay, that's dope, okay, that's cool, that's great. No, I respect that. Is there in relationships when it comes to clarity, what do you feel like for you someone being clear looks like?
I think it's exactly what you said in the sense of, you want me to give like specific examples?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is there anybody have been clear to you and you're like, I like the way you did that. I need my next person to do that.
One, I think it was really beautiful when you said, you know, saying it, but also backing it up by actions. Yeah. And I think it was very incredibly critical in the relationship, but incredibly admirable when before you even started dating and you knew and you said, I'm going to marry you. Mm-hmm. And then you made that abundantly clear throughout the relationship to reaffirm that. Yeah. I think setting that foundation is so incredibly important. And what that would look like for me, I think along the lines of making sure that intention is set from the beginning. Yeah. So that you kind of already know where you're headed. Yeah. Because that's incredibly important. One, for a healthy relationship, but also for the heart of the woman that you're stewarding. Mm-hmm. Because there's a certain level of stewardship that you have when you're in a relationship over that other person and how you care for them. Because love, essentially, love is not an easy thing, but it's also, like you said, it's vulnerability. Yep. And so you're showing that person like, hey, I'm going to steward you well. That's and good. You're safe here. That's good. So I think setting intentions and making those statements and making it abundantly clear without a doubt, but then also backing it up with action. Like, I'm taking you to meet my parents tomorrow. You know, make sure you dress nice.
Like that.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, so hey, like I want to meet your family.
That's good.
Like, I don't know. There's like an intertwining with lives that kind of happens throughout relationships.
Yep.
But making it clear why you're doing the things that you're doing. And I think, like you said, like, I mean, obviously you get to a point where you're getting ready to buy the ring, but I think in action, it looks like consistency.
Come on now.
It looks like consistency.
That's a word for somebody.
In the sense of how you communicate, the amount of effort and time that you put into that relationship and that person. Learning that person's love language or languages, depending on the person.
Yeah.
And one, honoring those things and loving them in that way, but also letting them know that you are intentionally doing that because you love them and you want them to know that they are loved.
That's good.
And you're saying to this person, like, hey, I'm going to make sure I love you well because I see us going here. And I just want you to know that I'm being intentional so that we get here.
Yes.
And setting up mile markers, like in the relationship, I think is also a great thing. Whether it be you're not proposing yet, but you know you plan to.
Yep.
Like, hey, so you want to get married sometime? Like, like, what would that look like for you? Yeah. You know, having those sit-down conversations and, you know, taking intentional time to talk about the future and what you desire. Like, having those hard conversations early.
Yeah.
So that way there's no surprises.
Yes.
Because you can get a very mentally and emotionally invested in a person, and you want to make sure that they know that you are serious.
I love that. You said some dope stuff, especially about the consistency. That's consistency in showing somebody that you care for them is probably the most important thing ever. And speaking of important thing ever, this is our sponsor. And I'm like,
Jesus.
Yes,
that's
is.
Our sponsor.
Yes, you are. What do you feel like is the most important things in a relationship overall?
God. Setting the right foundation. Ooh, Christ is my firm foundation, solid rock on which I stand. Because if you're building a house,
come on now, go ahead and say
build on the solid rock.
Come on now,
Jesus.
Praise break.
Oh, okay. I'm feeling the word of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes.
2-strand cord can be easily broken, but a 3-strand cord cannot be easily broken.
Yes.
Being equally yoked, also incredibly important. God has to be the center because God ordained the family before he did the church.
Yes.
And it's essentially the root of it. Because, like for me, right? As a woman of God, I didn't understand the importance of when it's time for me to be married, for it to be a godly man.
Yeah.
Because I am a woman of God. I'm a child of God. Yeah. And it is the core foundation of who I am as a person.
Yep.
So if you don't know my God, you don't know me.
That's good.
And you can't love me.
That's good.
One, because God is love.
Yeah.
You know, and it comes from him. It starts with him. And then it has to be rooted in him because that's where it's going to come from. And the ability to love them well and to steward them well, fruits of the Spirit.
Yes.
You know, love is patient, love is kind, love is long-suffering, it is not envy, it's not jealous, it's patient. It's patient.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So all of those things are incredibly important, and applying them requires faith. It requires God to be present in order to truly be able to love a person. So 1, God being the center. 2, like we said, consistency in word and in action.
Yeah.
Being equally yoked. Yeah. Because you could both love the Lord, but you also have to be aligned in purpose.
Yes.
In vision.
Yes.
What you want life to look like. Because essentially you're going to be bringing 2 different people into the same thing. And you're going to say, how do I want to spend forever with? Because till death do you part. That could be a very, very long time.
You 82 and you sick of them because you ain't do the right thing back when you were 22. And now you're miserable.
My aunt has this saying. She's a dating relationship coach. She has a ministry called Wives in Training. And she said, marriage is like going to jail for the rest of your life with one person. You're going to be locked in a cell together. So It could be the best thing. It could be the worst thing. Who do you want to be locked up with forever?
It's crazy.
And so when you think about it that way, it's like there's a different level of intentionality in your thought process in that, because you really have to say to yourself, is this person going to suit me? This person could suit me right now, but are they going to suit my purpose in 5 years, 10 years? If God shifts me completely, do they have the flexibility and the love for God, one, to love me in my weakness, but also be able to shift with me into whatever God is telling us to do? Because when you become married, like you become one flesh.
Yes.
So am I going to be able to grow with this person?
That's good.
Are we going to be aligned later, 30 years down the line? What does family look like for them? What does community look like for them? And so that's incredibly important. And then also the willingness and the compassion. You have to have compassion for this person. And you have to have a heart to serve that person. I love your new song, by the way. Here's a song coming out. It's super dope. And it is with the lady in question, just saying.
Come on now.
It is so beautiful. But yeah, the willingness to serve your partner, even in the difficult seasons, because love is not a feeling, it's an action.
Absolutely.
And it's a daily action.
It's a choice.
Yeah. So
that's good. What is this song? Why is this song important to you? Say slow. If you ain't heard it, once again, if you don't know, you don't know. Listen to the song.
I think
listening to that 55 times. Okay, go ahead.
The Pinterest board. Let's go back to that, right?
Okay, yeah.
So why is this song important to me? Me imagining love and all these different things, right? It's like, I know me, and I know that I am conditioning and have conditioned myself to believe that God has the best for me. So if I'm in a situation, or whoever hears this song, whoever needs to hear this, if I'm in or you're in a situation that it's like I'm becoming emotionally invested, and my heart, I'm in a vulnerable state, I need to know that I'm putting my heart and my hope in the right place. Because in God, our hope shall never be put to shame. But I also want to make sure that I'm applying wisdom. And it is incredibly important to use wisdom in how I'm stewarding my heart and where I'm placing it. And so this song is important in the sense because if I'm going to take that step to start trusting, start hoping, start believing, I need to make sure that I'm doing it for the right reason and the right thing, and this person is certain about me.
That's good. That's good. That's all I got for right now.
Yeah, God is not an author of confusion. So, like, make it clear.
Yes, very. That's what this song is about. So, if y'all in the situationships, and y'all like, oh my gosh, like, why can't I seem to find clarity? It's because, hey, those words, there's questions that needs to be answered. What are we? What are we doing? Where are we going? What is your expectation? I feel like it's your right to know these things. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're on both sides, male or female. I feel like it's your right to know these things. As a human, I feel like you're entitled to clarity. What am I in this for? You know? So I feel like this song pushes that in a new way, to like, in a personal way, but also like it's a challenge to like know your worth. You know? Like know that you're worth knowing what you're a part of. So
amen. Well, yay.
You did it.
Thank you. You did a good job.
I appreciate that. This is good. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you have a great time. Go listen to our song. Say it slow. Either out now will be out whenever this comes out.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really, really good. And yeah, it's super dope. So, love you.
Love you guys.
Good job.
Hey.